Hello, welcome. So we're on Elephant Lane here, named because of these elephantitis trees, the madrones. They may not survive, so we'll keep the name though. Going up this little road here, which we kind of built, this flat into the hill. Started moving, put rocks up here, made a little wall, and then put a foundation in. So as the titles can see, this is going to be our prototype hempcrete build. What is hempcrete? Well, I'll go over it quickly and why we're thinking of using it. So over there, you can see this flat is kind of where we're hoping to build our house in 10 years or so, realistically. And this little plot of land is our own little El Diablo scorched earth, because we're in a very fire-prone area, and with humans and their cultural habits, I think this global warming is only going to get worse. Things are going to get hotter. Droughts are going to get worse. So you can only try and think why to build here. You want to build not out of matchsticks from the local superstore. So in this extremely humid hot tent, which is all we kind of got for storage at the moment, we've got this stuff. So this is a well-known brand, looks like a mouse has been chewing at it there, of hempcrete. So hempcrete is the stem of an industrial hemp plant, which grows really fast. It doesn't really have any of the wacky-backy attributes of the hemp we all know and love of cannabis, but it's a really good material for building walls with. It's not as structurally supportive. It doesn't have the structural performance of, say, concrete. So hempcrete, kind of wood like this, as your structure, you can minimize on it a little, and then fill that with hempcrete. And go and watch some documentaries on it, maybe the kind of performance attributes for fireproof, the flame spread and toxicity tests that they've done to kind of national approved regulations. A mix of this with a lime product in Europe, or in some places, if you want to spend a lot of money shipping a hydraulic lime, that's kind of what you'll mix it with. West coast of the USA, it's extremely difficult to find hydraulic lime. If not, I've not found any. You can ship it in, but it's like, it might turn out to be $100 for 50 pound bag. My little chemical, here we go, hydrated lime. So hydraulic lime is basically lime without water, and then hydrated lime is lime that they've soaked in water, and they call it slack lime. And then they dry that. So this is kind of what you buy. Now the problem with this, because it's not hydraulic, it doesn't have the reactive kind of process that the hydraulic stuff does. So the hydraulic stuff, you can throw it in a bit of water and you'll see it bubble. You'll see this like really reactive process that starts happening. So I kind of did a lot of research, and there are a couple of different products that you can add to this hydrated lime to make it as reactive as hydraulic lime. And jump over under here a moment. You can see here I have a palette of, they call it super pause. What this is it's a metakaolin. So they take a kaolin product, which is mined, which kaolin you may have heard from kind of like face products or gardening products. It's very different. I did try some kaolin mixed with hydrated lime, and it will actually cure, but it just takes a long time. It might take like 3 months to cure, and then it's an extremely dense mixture. Maybe it was the mix I used, but it's really the performance you want from the hempcrete is as to have it kind of as less dense as possible. If it's still curing, that gives you the best insulation, both thermal insulation and acoustic insulation, if you want that. So this is the metakaolin. Yeah, if you're in the US, especially in California, there is a facility that you can buy this by the pallet. So the idea is you mix this 50-50, or you could even get down a little bit. You could take this down to 30-40% and use the hydrated lime because it's more available. But I'm still going to do a bunch of tests with this. I've just about received this. So the hempcrete will be a mix of, say, 50-50 of this to the hydrated lime. This roughly costs, if you could pick it up like I did, you're probably talking, say, $600 to $700 for a pallet. And you get a ton. So you get 2,000 pounds of it for $600-700. So if you need to ship it, that's going to add the price. It maybe add it up, $300-400 a pallet to maybe double the price. So even then, it may be worth it. If you're comparing it to importing like binder products that a lot of people are selling in the US, which may end up $80 by the time it hits your door per bag. So for that 150, even sometimes they're 40-pound bags, here we're getting, I think I worked it out as like $20 for the hydrated lime and the metakaolin, which would be a 90-pound mix. So, it's, if you're doing a small project, and especially if you're just prototyping and you want to figure this out, what you want to use it for, ordering the binder online, probably a good idea. If you're building a house, then it's not going to work out viable. There is a lot of projects around the US, but I think they're very, a lot of motivation from the kind of training aspect, or the fact that they're sponsored by something. But to do it yourself, work with an architect and a builder, bringing that cost in, really difficult for it to be feasible, I think. A little update on the land. We got this was Costco, so they had these live oaks in, which are massive. And they were a bit pricey. Well, not pricey for what it is, but it's $160. We got 2 of those. Already planted one way down there. And then these fruit trees were extremely cheap. They were $40, I think. So we got 5 of those, plum, cherry, peach. Jumping over here a sec. I started cutting up some of these burnt fir trees. So I've got some 5.5 inch, I think, square. I just put a bit of glue on them on the ends because I didn't have any anchor seal. I have to get some more of that. So these are like 9 feet, 5 by 5s. I'm going to do another 10 to 12 of those. So moving on, back little road I created up here. So this is a 10 by 12 foundation that I put in, kind of by hand. I didn't really know what I was doing, but YouTube and all. So I did an outer perimeter, probably 4 inches, and then 2.5 inches in the middle, because all the hempcrete footing is basically going to be on the outside. I just marked a blue line here. So I'm going to put some of this primer sealant down. Never heard of it, but it was the cheapest stuff, which I didn't want to spend too much money. I think it was like $20. And then this material, I don't know what they are, kind of like a roofing sealant material, window roofing. It's supposed to be a sticky, but I'm using kind of a primer sealant first. And the idea is the hempcrete, it is kind of porous. It's permeable is the word, so it will let water through. So if you imagine it's on a concrete base, if moisture wicks up the concrete, it'll wick into at least the bottom of the hempcrete possibly. Kind of peculiar reaction, and maybe starting to rot it or something. The hempcrete properties, it's got the lime in there, so it really reduces any option for termites or insects. We have rats up here, pretty crazy, or they used to be before the fire, much less so now, I expect. So no mold will grow on it, supposedly. So the reason to build this is really just to learn a lot about doing it. The materials were not that crazy expensive, when we're thinking about building a house. So this really will help us steer a little bit maybe with a house build for a few $1,000s, which you'd probably pay for a decent shed anyway. It's going to take a bit of time, be a lot of fun. But I'm hoping to share this because what I myself like really exploring YouTube on hempcrete, you know, and it's used in Europe, especially in Eastern Europe. I know there's a lot of new stuff in the UK, really good examples. But in the US, you know, there's really just a very minimal amount of people doing it. We contacted one of the really the experts in the region, if not the US, and spent an hour talking to him with him, and he was absolutely fantastic. You know, really honest about you know, the risks and the procurement challenges, and I think he just really wants to do what he can, but understands, you know, it's not really like a competition thing. It's just you really need just to stimulate the market, because the more people that are doing it, the better the infrastructure is going to get, and the easier the procurement's going to be for the materials. So that's the next steps. Hopefully I'm going to go through it. I'm not too worried about the water coming up because the ground here is ridiculously, it drains extremely well. So with a percolation test that we had to do, it percolates too fast for a kind of a drainage, like a septic system. If you dig down in the ground here, they call this kind of California crush, I think. We actually bought some of it, $100 a ton or something they charge. We bought some of it. And if we dig underground, this is all we have. And you can kind of see it's this decomposed granite. And it's a beautiful color, like on the path and stuff. And when you compress it, it looks fantastic. So I was digging a stump out just on this road here, and I just kept digging to just get a lot of this out so I can use it for stuff. So any water that does come down here, it'll kind of hit this wall, I guess, and go down, and then it certainly won't pool. Like, I've never seen water pool here, even on the worst days. And it'll probably drain down really fast. There's a lot of gravel in the base there I put in. So I got some, you can see over there, I went and got a few tons of different kinds of gravel and sand. I rented a truck. And there's not much gravel in there, and it's going to be concrete, primer, and then one of these kind of sealant products. And then can start putting the post and beam kind of construction together. And then I'll do some videos on kind of hempcrete processing there. Try and do more on the land, because I really want to, even for myself, I just want to capture videos of how the land comes back. It's just phenomenal being here. And, you know, after the first few months, it was really like the moon. No creatures, very few. And now, I think you can hear that tweeting. It's either the chipmunks have come back. I've seen the chipmunks, and I didn't see them for a long time. Hempcrete build part 1, hempcrete prototype build, I'll call it. And any questions, don't hesitate to ask. See you in the next one.